Hello, one and all. This is the Post Watch Post Mortem. My name's John Clare.
I'm Roman Pish.
And we're here today talking about the 2005 comic book adaptation of Constantine. As someone who was a big fan of the original Hellblazer books and who did own a few of them, most of them are in London. One of them that I brought over here, which was Original Sins, I've misplaced somehow because I was going to use it in a prop for this very podcast, but I've alas forgotten where I've mislaid it, so therefore could not do that. But anyway, I digress. We're here talking about Constantine, the adaptation of the original comic book starring Keanu Reeves and Rachel Weisz. Mm-hmm. And it's all right.
I like the movie. I think it's good. I think he kind of stretched a bit long. It stretched the plot a bit too long. I think. But otherwise, good Kenny Reeves moment. I think is very we heard recently. It's a very believable. It just give it 100% into this role.
Yeah,
and it kind of work. Even though I don't know the character of Constantine, I think he delivered a pretty good Constantine adaptation.
Okay. Well, what I would say to that is right.
Is he not is Constantine kind of a guy who basically, if from what I know, you're going to say I'm wrong, it's okay. But from what I know, Constantine is kind of this anti-hero,
The best way to describe Constantine is that in the original comic book, in the original Hellblazer series, anyone who's read it, and like I said, I'm in fairness, I haven't read it in about 15 years. I do have a load of the books, but again, they're not in the same country I'm in at the moment. I did have Original Sins knocking around somewhere, but I can't remember where the fuck I've left it. But the thing is, right, in the original book, it's not just the case that he's English and blonde, right? There's this whole thing about, and also Chaz is a completely different fucking character. For a start, he's not fucking Shia LaBeouf.
Charlie was the kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's basically, Chaz is like a much more contemporaneous in terms of age to John, and and their relationship is very much more like friends. Right, Chaz is basically like John's normie mate that is always there for him.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But he's a normie, so he doesn't see.
Yeah, and the only thing true about it is in the comic books he drives a London taxi, so that's the only thing they really carried over. But then Shia LaBeouf in this movie looks like he's 15 fucking years old. But yeah, I mean, I don't. As someone who read the original Hellblazers, who for a long time was a massive fan, the one thing I don't look at the Constantine film starring Keanu Reeves as an adaptation of Hellblazer. Right? I kind of look at it as its own separate thing. It uses elements from Hellblazer, like the name John Constantine, the name Chaz, the fact that Chaz drives a taxi, but it's all it's not even loosely adapted. It's like what they've done, they've taken one or two things here and there, the fact that he's a demon slayer and he's an exorcist, but also in the original thing, he's a trickster, he's much more kind of a bit more mischievous. He's a bit more sarcastic, sardonic, funny.
It's a thing that's very common, that I see a lot in, as a you see a little bit in foreign and stuff like that, but you don't see it because it's English and American. It's an Americanized version of an European character, which I saw a lot happening in in American history, movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, that happens all the time, but it's not even that it's an American, because really and truly, Vertigo were part of DC. DC is an American comic book company. I mean, it's owned by
You won't say that this Constantine is basically an Americanized version of Constantine?
I wouldn't even say he's an Americanized version. I think he's a completely different character.
Okay.
Even the law's different. The whole thing about, in the original comic books, basically there's an exorcism that goes wrong, and a young girl gets killed in Newcastle, and it's always referred back to in the comic books the Newcastle incident. And basically, and not only that, one thing also is that in the film, which comic book Constantine does all the fucking time, is basically immortal because he keeps tricking. He basically tricks. He'll trick the gods into keeping him alive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He'll play gods. He'll play demons and gods off of each other.
This one, he just want to die. He just want to go to heaven.
Well, it's not even that. Yeah, that's right. In the comic book, he's he wants to be in the film, he wants to be absolved from his sin of suicide so he can go to heaven. But whereas in the comic book, he's basically a devious fucker. Do you know what I mean?
He'll find the best way to. Sorry.
Well, no, it's not you find what he'll do. Like in the comic books, he actually plays gods and demons off of each other, so he can stay alive.
So, what is his goal? What's the goal of Constantine in the comic books?
From what I remember, he's an exorcist. You go around and he'll sort out demons and kick them back to hell. Mm-hmm. But like I said, he's more of a trickster. He's more witty. He lives on his wits. It's a very different character. To be honest with you, I mean, although this is about this little kind of series of ours at the moment, like the panel projector. It's about comic book adaptations. But the thing is, like, I don't really see this version of Constantine, as an adaptation of the original source material.
It's the one that diverged the most of an adaptation.
It's massively diverged. I mean, it pays lip service, but it's not really the same property. It's not really, like I said, I honestly reckon they're completely different characters, and I don't really look at it as a comic book adaptation. I like Constantine the movie, I do. Mm-hmm. I like the aesthetic. I love the photography. I love the way hell's interpreted. There's a lot of stuff about it that I like. I mean, and also Rachel Weisz is very easy on the eye. But generally, if you were to rate this as a comic book adaptation, it doesn't score very highly at all.
No, it's scored pretty low. Because the only thing that he has is the name of the character, and that pretty much
that's about it.
And a taxi.
Yeah, and a few other little bits and pieces here and there. But generally, in terms of a straight-up adaptation of the original property, which is owned by DC Comics, I've got no idea why they would kind of. If Warner Brothers had any common sense, they'd say, look, we own the rights to two different characters. They're both called John Constantine, but they're not the same fucking thing. Because like. The law is different. The kind of setting's different. It's not that like Constantine in the comic books didn't go to America. He
could have been called Johnny Constantine.
Or whatever. He could have been called.
Is it
Mick Constantine? I don't give a fuck what it was called, but like, it's not the same character.
Does it feel like a bit of a knockoff? They took a little bit of what make the original thing and just like make a knockoff version.
I don't even look at it like that. I don't look at it like a knockoff. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie. I do. I enjoyed the movie for what it is, but do I see it as an adaptation of the original source material? Not even fucking close. Okay. Do you know what I mean? But I enjoy it for what it is. I mean, I'm looking at here at the Rotten Tomatoes ratings.
The audience review is pretty high.
Yeah, 72. The critics are 46. I think at the time it wasn't really seen it wasn't looked upon very favourably. But I've always liked this. Do you know what I mean? I've always liked this movie. I've always enjoyed it. I mean, I take your point. It's at some points it's a little bit overly long.
Yeah, it's like it's stretching too far. Like the end should have been. There should have been a conclusion like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That's what the movie felt for me. Like
Yeah, I mean, I'll go along with that. I mean, in terms of criticisms, I mean, do you know what I rate this movie as? I regard it as more of
like some character. For example, some character was just developed. No, it's terrible. But like the end is so long. Yet some character like development was so short. Like for example, like the guy that died in the bowling alley thing. He was seen in one scene.
Well, 3 scenes I think he was.
No, one scene. Oh, 3 scenes in total. You're right. Yeah, and you have to care for him. That he's sad. He died. Like we have nothing to do with him really. Yeah. Same for Shia LaBeouf character. Same for the big old fella. He didn't spoke that much. We saw him like going through newspaper or stuff like that, and went to his body, then tried to drink, and there's no alcohol. But there's no because he didn't talk that much. Yeah. Oh, when Shia LaBeouf talked, he talked for nothing. Like he talked for like, oh, can I go in?
Yeah.
He's just doing that comic relief kind of bullshit,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Comic relief bullshit. And to be honest with you, like this was at the time at least anyway. This is what Shia LaBeouf was known for. This is why I mean this came out a couple of years before the first Transformers movie came out, which made him famous. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of Shia LaBeouf's, interpretation of Chaz. I think it's really fucking annoying and grating. But
he played like a kid.
Well, yeah, I mean, he pulled off that shtick for a while.
Like you say that Chad is it Chad?
Chaz
is Constantine's best friend
in the books, yeah.
But this feel like Constantine like like slave or
No, it's like he's like a little mate that he kind of carries around with him.
yeah, the key has pity of, so it's just basically
Yeah, 'cause
it doesn't have a house, like
Yeah, it's like in the books, like Chaz gets pissed off with Constantine. 'Cause there are times where he just like like John, we're there for you. I'm your best mate and everything. Sometimes they've even had fallings out and stuff during the course of the comic books. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, wow, hard.
Watch out there. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, I think it's. Like I said, I mean, do you know what? I don't think we should really talk about this movie as an adaptation of the source material because, like I said, it's piss poor in that regard.
But like, it's a bit of a shame that a series is about like a movie adaptation of comic book. Can you please pass me the tea?
I'm not finished yet.
Oh, I didn't see it from there.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Thank you for the offer, at least. Anyway, But yeah, I don't think we should. I think what we should do is really talk about this movie and talk about any subjects around this movie, regarding directly the movie. Like I said, like there's literally no point in comparing it to the original.
Yeah, there's no point because it's a completely different thing. It's its own thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very much its own thing. I mean, the fact that they're making a sequel. I mean, yeah. Hold on a second. Let me just bring it up here now. Hold on a minute.
Constantine 2.
Constantine 2. Right, okay, Constantine 2. I'm just going to go to the IMDb page.
Is it from, why is it Constantine? Is it because Constantinople?
No, it's just the name sounded cool.
Is it sounding cool? No, it's nothing to do with Constantinople.
Well, obviously there must be something. It's the comic book. Yeah, well, it's just the comic book. Reeves will reprise his role as supernatural exorcist and demonologist John Constantine, who in the original is dying but stays around to save his soul by keeping demons from hell from breaching Earth. Who else is in it? Director is Francis Lawrence. Stars Peter Stormare and Keanu Reeves.
That's the guy who play Satan.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty good setting.
Yeah, I mean, like basically, but I'd say, to be honest with you, it's probably in pre-production, or
yeah, it is in pre-production.
The writer strikes is still, well, not the writer strikes, the actor strike is still going on. So when this is likely to get made, if it's likely to get made, is a completely different matter altogether. But in terms of the original, the 2005 original, I do like the movie. I love the aesthetic of the movie. I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah, very green, very dark.
Yeah, like really heavy contrast, really kind of like these saturated colours. I love the way it looks.
Kind of remind me a bit of Seven.
Yeah, in a way, I could see that.
Like Seven was set in New York or in Los Angeles as well?
I think it was in Los Angeles, wasn't it?
Yes, Los Angeles. Yeah. So this is it's one of the driest places on Earth.
Yeah.
But in these two movies, it just looked like the most drenched, the most wet, the most sweaty.
Yeah. Well, no, I think with Los Angeles, where it's based, it's actually based in a kind of like basin area. I think it does get quite a lot of rainfall.
Okay.
During certain parts of the year. I'm not too sure. I mean, if you're from LA, I'm sure you can let us know if anyone watching this is from that particular area.
City of Angel.
Yeah, the City of Angels, Los Angeles. But in terms of the actual movie itself, I mean, I like them. I like. Do you know something, right? I've got to say, in terms of sex of Christianity, right, and as a Catholic, I'm not a practicing Catholic. I'm in the church. The only times I ever go to church are at fucking funerals, christenings, or weddings. I'm not one of these fellas that's going to likely to be. You're not going to find me in the pews on a Sunday afternoon, but you got to give it to the Catholic faith. The lore is fucking awesome, man.
The lore is like deep and dark, like
exactly. I mean, there's so much to pull from, and this is why like so many, like whether it's another DC property in Sandman, like it also pulls a lot from. It also pulls a lot from Catholic faith, as well as like Greek mythology within Morpheus and Orpheus and all that, with like the god of dreams and everything else. But yeah, there is like. I like the fact that there's so much rich, like even not Constantine, fucking Castlevania.
Yeah,
the video game and when you watch the animated series on Netflix is actually pretty fucking good. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed that.
I like how the Nordic mythology is a lot of great story, like hero story. The Greek one is a lot of incest and
also hero stories. What I do, come
also
on, man.
hero stories and like hero stories with a touch of incest.
That's more the gods. Right? But the god, what goes on with the gods is a bit fucking creepy.
I like the Judeo-Christian mythologies. A lot of betrayal and it's it's there's betrayal. There is like revenge. There is like it's pretty epic.
Yeah, it's like what was it?
I don't say that there's no betrayal and revenge in Nordic or Greek pantheon or stuff like that, but yeah.
I know. I think the Catholic lore is pretty fucking cool. I mean, whether you're reading fucking Dante's Inferno or whatever else, there's a lot there. The whole fucking
hell and heaven,
hell, heaven, and also like the fact that you got, the imagery. I mean, like if you go to Catholic churches, I mean, yes, the Catholic Church is undoubtedly one of the richest organisations in the world, probably one of the most corrupt as well, and is responsible for lots of fucking awful things like priests diddling kids and whatever else. But
that's one of the things.
One of many fucking things. I mean, if you listen to some of the horror stories, even in this country, in Ireland. Like fucking the what's the name of the nuns that fucking god, like there's it's not
do your own research.
Do your own research, mate. It's not really a subject I want to cover on this podcast, but the Magdalene nuns, I think it's called. But there's the Catholic Church is responsible for some fucking real atrocities, and not only that, they're responsible for the Crusades and everything else, But in terms of like
at the time, though, everybody was crusading into a bit too fair.
Well, yeah,
everybody was crusading.
It was a bit hectic back then, back in the 1100s and 1200s and whatever else.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's the laws there. So I mean, because the law is so rich, there's a lot for storytellers to come along and kind of extrapolate for themselves, ways into I find it quite curious with America because America's not really a Catholic country.
No,
it's predominantly Protestant. But
is Constantine a Protestant in the comic book, or is he Catholic?
Constantine is Constantine.
Constantine is Constantine. Okay.
Yeah, but the thing is, like a lot of this kind of law, is very kind of predicated on the Catholic Church, and. A lot of the stories that have been told over the past 2 millennia. A lot, like I said, Dante's Inferno, Paradise Lost. It's not just about stuff from the Bible; it's all the extraneous stuff as well. The 7 deadly sins.
I was going to say there's a lot of influence from South America as well. Like it was extremely religious as well. Like Mexico and
but a lot of that stuff comes from Spain, and a lot of that stuff from Spain comes from Rome. So, but like I said, like Paradise Lost, Dante's Inferno, the 7 deadly sins. There's stuff just outside. It's not just the Bible; it's the stuff that's outside of the Bible as well. Mm-hmm. And the fact that instead of like there being a pantheon of gods, there's a pantheon of saints. So you don't have like a saint, or angels, for instance, like Gabriel. I think is it Gabriel that's the angel of war or something like that. But there's so even though it's monotheistic, there's still a pantheon of sorts within the Catholic Church.
There's one God, but there's angels, and there is falling angels, and there's a whole bunch of pantheon.
There's a real kind of mythology.
There's name demon and stuff like that. Like name angel, name demon.
There's a real kind of mythology within Christianity. Obviously, a lot of that was brought over from Judaism through the Old Testament or the Torah. But then you had, that's been kind of developed on and worked on over the course of many thousands of years, and it's very rich. And like I said, there's storytelling potential for a modern storyteller, whether it be a script writer, or a comic book writer, or a novelist, or whatever. There's so much lore there to really kind of extrapolate from and make something of your own with. I mean, this is why like Greek mythology is great for doing that because of like the pantheon of gods and some of the amazing stories. Then you've got Norse mythology is great for that because not only is there great stories, but there's also gaps that you can fill within. I think the same applies for Irish mythology as well, because a lot of Irish mythology is based on old Celtic mythology. So what little we do have recorded, like there's I know bits and pieces about Irish mythology, which is fascinating to me, like the Fomorians and Tír na nÓg and all that kind of stuff, and Brian Boru. There's all these stories and tales and heroes, that's been passed on through the ages, and it's cool that that's there because just expanding upon those stories and expanding upon those mythologies keeps them alive. But with Constantine, like I said, in terms of the actual movie itself, Like it's a good movie. You know, I'd say it's one of those movies where you can just kind of sit down, turn your brain off, and just kind of enjoy it.
It's funny at some time. It's good entertainment. I like it. There's a good special effect for the time, if I do say.
I'd say some of the special effects look a lot better than the fucking ones you see
Nowadays.
recently.
Yeah, it's true. Like, it would have been bad at the time, but like now we see what we have now coming in big AAA franchises. Like, okay.
Yeah, with budgets. I mean, look at this way, right? I had a look at the budget as well. The budget at the time was roughly $100 million. If you factor in inflation, it's near enough $157 million in terms of its actual production budget. It made its money back. If I look at the box office for the time, it made a worldwide box office of about $230 million.
Because Kenny Reeves was in it.
No, not really. I mean, to be honest, look, it's not that it was massively successful. It didn't do gangbusters. If you look at the numbers, I mean, it did $230 million on a $100 million budget at the time. That wasn't exactly what you'd call massively successful, but it was like it was all right and made money. If it did gangbusters, we'd have had about 4 or 5 of them by now.
Yeah,
and the fact and
like the John Wick saga.
Well, yeah, I think to be perfectly honest with you, if it weren't for if John Constantine had done John Wick numbers, then there wouldn't be a John Wick probably.
No, it would have been Constantine 1, Constantine 2, Constantine 3.
Exactly.
Parabellum. Constantine 4.
It's just like I don't know.
Constantine 2, a wife died and she has to go back into the fight against hell and heaven.
But also another thing is getting back to actually like there's one kind of touch point. I don't think I love Keanu Reeves. I think when Keanu Reeves finds a role that suits him, I think he's brilliant.
When you find a role that you like, and the story that you like, it just go 100%.
Yeah, I mean he's got. He'll put himself in it physically. Like whether it's The Matrix or John Wick or whatever. I mean, apparently he's very proficient with a firearm. He's very proficient as a fighter.
Yeah,
he's well trained. So, like, it's not as if he doesn't know what to, but it's like in terms of, and he's got a very quiet charisma about him that I quite like. But in terms of actual, like, I don't think Keanu Reeves could have done John Constantine from the comic book. I think what they did was with this property is they kind of did what, and I don't mean this in a pejorative sense. I don't mean it to talk down to Keanu Reeves as an actor, but he doesn't quite have the range or he doesn't have the. Like I say, he has quiet charisma. He doesn't have like an extroverted charisma, if that makes any sense.
Do you know who would make a great Constantine?
Well, considering you've never read the comic books.
I know, but could it be a good Constantine? Tell me if I'm wrong or not.
All right, go on.
Michael Fassbender.
No.
Okay.
So again, he might have the
because you have the
physicality.
knowledge. Because you have the knowledge. Who you put in the Constantine? If you have to do the casting.
Look, to be honest,
if you have to ask somebody,
I'd prefer him to be British, at least. Mainly, I would like. I don't know. I mean, Tom Hardy's too brawly.
What's the name of the guy we saw in it's a movie with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, Charlie Hunnam. You talk
Charlie
about
Hunnam?
The Gentleman.
The Gentleman, like the guy from The Gentleman, yeah. Kind of have it, a little bit. He's blonde. He has British accent.
Yeah, maybe.
Colin Farrell.
Actually,
can you think Colin Farrell could have been
I don't know. I mean, he could definitely pull off like the kind of like the Constantine I know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what they really had to do is I think they knew their limits. I think like Keanu Reeves probably knew his limits as well, and
with the character
and the production team around him. So what they did was they kind of reworked the property to suit Keanu Reeves, and again, like kind of went their own way with it, and I think it worked.
They didn't choose to put him blonde, to change his hair on blonde or do stuff like that,
or make him do a fucking English accent. Because if anyone's seen Bram Stoker's Dracula, he's not very good at doing that.
But it's good that, for example, do you remember when we watched The Death of Stalin? And I will always praise that movie because nobody tried to do a Russian accent in that movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what? If you want to make that movie and you want to you're limited by the location, or or you're limited by whatever factor, just do everybody has an English accent. And you know what? I'm agree with that. Nobody's trying to ridiculous.
Except Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi's trying a Russian accent.
Well, Steve Buscemi was in what was it? Name of the film you just said.
The Death of Stalin.
Death of Stalin. Yeah, he was in it as well. He just did an American accent.
It is American.
Yeah, I know. That's what's up. Okay, never mind.
But like in the Death Study, he's playing a Russian character.
Yeah, he's playing a Russian character,
but he still have his American accent.
Exactly.
And everybody has their original accent, and it's all talk with their original accent. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think what happens is like if everyone starts talking the Russian
It's just
accent,
become ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Look at this way: if you're going to do a slapstick comedy, just make it a slapstick comedy. Use your own accent and have a crack with it.
Max Wrong with a wig.
But
Constantine with a Max Wrong with a wig. That's it.
Again, he's
It's
too
too
big
nice.
and burly. I don't know. There's something about right if like because initially right because the Alan Moore who actually created Constantine for DC Comics, he based him on Sting.
Ah,
That's where the blonde hair and blue eyes comes from. He's actually based on Sting physically.
okay.
That was kind of so yeah.
Oh, the guy from Kingsman, the young kid from Kingsman.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. What's his fucking name again?
He played.
Played Eggsy. Oh, I can't remember. He's got something Taggarton. He's got some weird name on him. Anyway, no, I think again he's too. I don't know who. Off the top of my head, I couldn't really think of anyone who could play Constantine. I don't know.
Right
I suppose.
now.
Yeah, I mean everyone's going to have their own ideas, but I don't know
like
right now.
everybody's an actor, and they all do the same different, but they're capable of doing a character. Like
Well, the thing's like you've done a bit of stage acting
I did.
yourself.
Yeah, I was.
So-
I was in the play. If you haven't seen last weekend, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for showing up. If you show up,
And if you didn't, which I didn't, because I was otherwise engaged doing my streaming and whatever else.
excuses. It's okay. But
And
like
I'll
yeah,
stand by
as I say, like I'm not the greatest. I'm not more of an actor than I'm more of a performer.
Yeah.
I kind of do the same thing. It's hard for me to do something else that I'm already am. I'm a good performer, but I'm not a good actor.
Right.
I cannot change my entire mental and physical thing. I can pretend, but I can pretend in the limit of my, my personality. So, for example, I would never be able to play a bad guy. Never.
Right.
Never. I don't know how to do it. Or to somebody who's stoic. For example, when me and Michael dress up as the Blues Brothers, I was smiling all the time. It was not the Blues Brothers because I was so proud of my Blues Brothers costume with Michael, the glasses and everything. And I was smiling all the time. No, Blues Brothers never smiled. They were stoic, they did nothing attacked them,
Yeah.
But no, I couldn't. I couldn't do that. So basically, every time I do theater, I play myself. I just play myself like a variety version of myself. It's a bit like Bill Murray, for example. Always play Bill Murray.
True.
Yeah. Some actors are actors, and some actors are performers.
Yeah.
Some actor can change completely the way they talk, the way they think. They can have a different personality, and some actors are just basically do them, but pretending to do something else.
So would you say? Would it be fair to say then
Or
that Keanu Reeves is more of a performer than an actor? Do you think? Because like when he's good at something, when he's good in a role,
he's invested. Like it's not like being invested and being a good actor is not like it's two different things. You can be like it can be. I can give you a lot of bad actors that are very invested into what they do.
Yeah, but at the same time though, I think when it comes down to Keanu Reeves though, like I said, when he's in the right role for him, like whether it's Neo in the Matrix, whether it's Constantine in this interpretation of the property,
are Neo, John Wick, and Constantine kind of the same person?
that's what I mean.
He's a good performer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's more. Do you think he's more
does
performer than
it
an actor?
change? Does it change drastically? Oh, I don't know. Was it Breaking Point or was it like Point Break?
Point Break, yeah.
Breaking Point. Point Break.
Yeah.
But like in Point Break, he played Keanu Reeves. It's Keanu Reeves all the time.
Yeah.
Is it something? Is what I say? Is bad? No, he's a good performer and he performed. He know how to pretend to be someone else, but he will always be Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
There's no moment to say like, oh my god, that was Keanu Reeves. There's
You
no
don't have
moment
to remind yourself.
Yeah, you don't have to remind yourself that fucking say that was Keanu Reeves there.
I mean, say what you want about Leonardo DiCaprio. Like
He's an actor. He's an actor.
He's a very good actor.
It'll change. It'll change his personality. It will change his It will basically And some actors will basically change who they are like.
Yeah.
And some actors just like playing the same, and that's why they want that actor, for example.
Yeah, it's like I think like when an actor is good in a role, right? What they'll often do is they'll just turn around and say, okay, then the next role that we have that's kind of like this, especially if you've made money.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a role, if you're in a franchise, or if you've done movies that where your name carries a bit of weight, which is less so the case late. I think it's going to come round again, but right now, like, there's very few in the way of like true movie stars. Tom Cruise has somehow managed to kind of keep that going. Tom Cruise
is a performer as well. He always played Tom Cruise.
I don't know, Tropic Thunder, dude.
Tom Cruise, Tropic Thunder. Oh, it was a big Jewish.
Yeah, I thought he was fucking brilliant in that.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't know.
To be fair, it was a bit of the actor in Magnolia. Do you remember the Tom Cruise in Magnolia? There was this.
Well, he was that kind of sex guru, yeah.
A sex guru, overly arrogant guy, and I kind of see this guy in the.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know. I think Tom Cruise can act when he's called upon him.
I think every actor can act. But sometimes they don't. What the studio demand them is to play Keanu Reeves or play Tom Cruise.
No, but I think with Keanu Reeves, and again, I don't mean this in the pejorative, because the stuff I like him in, I really like him in it. But the stuff I've seen that I don't like him in, again, Bram Stoker's Dracula, like his English accent is fucking appalling. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is, like, and this is why I kind of.
Tom Cruise, or are you talking about
Keanu Reeves?
Oh, you said Tom Cruise for that?
Huh?
You said Tom Cruise.
Oh, what was the movie that he had to do an Irish accent? He was in fucking Nicole Kidman. That sucked far and away. Jesus Christ, his Irish accent and that fucking blows goats.
But has a problem with accent.
Well, I think most Americans have problems with accents.
The best Irish accent was
what?
Brad Pitt in.
Devil's Own.
No, Brad Pitt in.
Snatch.
Snatch.
Yeah, we just did the pikey accent.
He was just basically rumble.
Yeah. You like dags? Dags? Yeah, I like dogs.
Dags.
But yeah, I mean, like, I think that was the whole idea, though, because like I think when they approached him about it, Brad Pitt just turned around and said, "I
don't know how to do.
I don't know. I can't do it. Did you hear my accent in Devil's Zone? It sucked." And they were like, "Look, just make it unintelligible, and you'll sound like a pikey, and you'll be fine."
Yeah, just rumble.
Exactly. Just talk random shit. Yeah. Nice caravan. Do you know what I mean?
The only word you understand is caravan.
Exactly. But
your phone is going to. No, it's fine. It's good. You're good. Wow, what a technique. Nope, it's a drop.
Not a drop wasted. But yeah, I think generally speaking, when it comes to accents or anything like that, I mean, like this is why I kind of go on about when we talk about V for Vendetta, and I wasn't initially it does pull me out of the role quite a bit, because like when you hear someone doing an American doing a noticeably bad accent, like noticeably bad, it can be immersion breaking. Do you know? This is why sometimes I just think, look, if you want to cast someone if your role requires someone who's English and has a London accent,
just get a good actress.
Get a good actress from London who has a fucking London accent, and you'll be fine.
At the time, you could have at the time of the movie was released, there's a panel of English actress that you can have.
More than likely,
yeah.
But I think it's the same with Irish accents. I mean, if you can't nail it, don't do it, because it sounds fucking bad. I mean, it's all very well saying, "Oh yeah, they won't notice back in America," but there are. Look, you got to bear in mind, I'm second generation Irish. Like my parents are Irish, so if I listen to when I'm sitting down watching something and someone talks in a bad Irish accent, it fucking annoys me.
Or a bad French accent as well,
or even a bad French accent.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you can noticeably hear the difference between like someone who actually speaks in that accent and someone who's doing a very bad interpretation, it does take you out of the role, I think. But
I'm more thinking about this idea of performer and actor, and it's very hard to change completely. I think being changing completely is impossible. Because what an actor do basically, it just you give him this role, and with the tool that he has, it's going to change the role. Sometimes he can change himself a tiny bit, or he can change himself a lot, but he never truly change himself. So what I say about performer and actor is maybe not valid. Really.
Well, I think to be honest with you, it's like. It's saying who's an artist and who's not an artist.
Yeah, it's it doesn't make sense to say that question.
But at the same time, the only thing I would say is like I said, we've kind of gone on about this, but I think with Keanu Reeves is like when Keanu Reeves is right for something, he's really fucking right for it. When he's not, he's really fucking not. It's very obvious. I think he's just one of those sorts of performers. Like
or maybe when he doesn't enjoy the movie that he's doing, he's just not there.
I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, he's been in a lot of bad stuff, like 47 Ronin, Johnny Mnemonic. I don't care what anyone says. That movie sucks. He's been in some bad stuff over the years, but at the same time, he's been in the likes of Speed. Speed was all right. It was a good 90s action movie.
Devil Advocate.
Huh?
Devil Advocate.
What?
With Joe Pesci? No, Joe Pesci. No. A Devil Advocate. No. Did you ever watch that movie?
Say that again slowly.
Devil Advocate.
Oh, The Devil's Advocate.
The Devil's Advocate.
No, that wasn't Joe Pesci. That was fucking Al Pacino.
Al Pacino. Yeah, same thing.
Right.
Joking. I'm joking.
Yeah. That's actually I haven't seen that movie in years. That's really good. That's the first film I saw Charlize Theron in. But yeah, that's a really good. I mean, yeah, Devil's Own's in the right movie. I mean, do you know what? Devil's Own, not Devil's Own, sorry, Devil's Advocate. I mean, I'd probably put it in with Constantine in this kind of like Hollywood, Roman Catholic, hellfire and brimstone.
There was during the late 90s, the early 2000s. There was kind of a lot of Catholic, good and bad and evil and stuff like that. Movies.
Yeah, because again, like the law's fucking awesome. Yeah, and this is the thing.
I think he finished with the movie. What was it called? Anyway, you were saying The Law?
No, what were you saying? What was the movie you were thinking of?
The movie about the Catholic ships and like conspiration and stuff like that with Tom Hanks.
Oh, the fucking Dan Brown novels, the Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, that's not really. That's not. Yeah, I suppose maybe, but less hellfire and brimstone and more like Illuminati and conspiracy theories.
But like you're saying about the.
But no, it's just I think the law's really there, and this is why you can if I mean don't get me wrong, you get a lot of schlocky crap as well, but like I don't know what would be a good example. Fucking.
I was thinking of the TV show with the two brothers. What's it called? It's like Jimmy and Jimmy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's the two brothers, the exorcists, going in like it's an American TV show. Nisha used to love watching that show. My old housemate used to love watching that show.
I don't know. I probably know what you're talking about, but it doesn't. It's not ringing any bells at the moment. But yeah. But is there anything else about this movie that you like?
What?
Constantine. Trying to get back on subject.
Oh yeah. I like the lore. I like the lore. I like Keanu Reeves. Everything he does pretty cool. Some of the scene are pretty cool. I like the scene when he has with the spider. I think it's like
oh yeah, when he blows
like
smoke into the glass.
Welcome to my world,
yeah,
motherfucker. And I like the visual as well. Do you know, like the visual of hell? I like the idea. I don't know, like how much was taken from the original material. That's the thing. It's completely.
Oh, don't worry about it. Ignore
but
it.
Like yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It could have been, I think it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's cool. Yeah, so like I have nothing else more to say that than just it's cool.
Do you know what I think with Constantine is that
the end drags a little bit. That's it.
Yeah. I think to be honest, again, if you just want to go in and turn your brain off and watch a movie.
Can I say something about the end? Like the end is like, oh, Constantine arrive, save the day. Like Constantine arrive, save the day. Okay, monster like enemies is here. Constantine arrive, save the day. Monster come back, Constantine save the day, and it's just like it's like the end is just like a back and forth, like it's like I save her, oh no I have to save her again, oh no I save her, oh no I have to save her again. Yeah, this is basically
Also, like I mean a couple of things I did like. Tilda Swinton. I mean, that woman is a fucking chameleon.
I know, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In every movie I've ever seen her in, there are times when you got to have a double take. Like I've seen her like as a glamour puss in Devil Wears Prada. I've seen her as the angel Gabriel in this movie. I've seen her in. I remember seeing her in Snowpiercer and thinking, is that Tilda Swinton? And every time or she's the fucking like bald-headed monk dude in the fucking Doctor Strange movie. She's like every time you see her, she's completely different. She is a fucking chameleon. That woman. It's amazing what she's able to do.
Yeah, physical chameleon. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
she played a lot of male role.
Yeah,
No
but
problem.
she can switch to playing a very feminine role as well. I mean, she's a fucking chameleon. That woman. I mean, it's amazing what she's able to do. Like as an actress, man, I can't fucking rate her highly enough. She's phenomenal.
What the best to play an angel, like to be slightly androgen, the perfect beauty. You're not quite sure if it's male or female. So a bit like David Bowie.
Yeah,
Kind
maybe.
of androgynous kind of personality.
But also on the counterpoint to that, because like the guy who plays Balthazar, he's played by Gavin Rossdale, the lead singer of Bush. I'm pretty sure you don't know who he is.
The guy with the coin.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, he was the lead singer of a British band called Bush, who I still like some of their tunes.
So there was the only British thing in the movie.
Yeah, but he fucking sucked. I'm sorry. He has all the screen presence of this fucking table. Stick to fucking singing songs, Gabby, because you can't fucking act. It's like that. He goes, finger looking good. We just stuck his fingers in his mouth. I was just like, what are you doing, you clown? And yeah, just the way he carries himself, the way he talks. I mean, he's a very good looking guy, but in terms of acting, I mean, nah, mate. And in what's his name? Fuck. Hold on a second, I'll get his name up in here now. Who played Papa Midnight? Jimon Honsu. Yeah, in the roles he's given, like, he's class. I like him. Like, as Papa Midnight, it works out really well. And Peter Stormare as Satan, I thought was quite an interesting choice and quite an interesting.
It's a perfect choice.
Quite an interesting depiction of the character in a white suit and looking slightly fucking mental. But well, that's the thing, though. I mean, like, Satan has many names, like, Lucifer Morningstar. What else? He has a few names. Beelzebub. But yeah, I thought, there's some interesting performances in it. Like I said, Shia LaBeouf just fucking great. I'm sorry, but he does. And obviously Angela Weiss. I mean, that woman is, well, not just easy in the eye. She's a really good actress. A lot of stuff. Unfortunately, the last film I saw her in was fucking Black Widow, and by God, that film blows goats. Sorry, stay. I mean, the thing is, though, in terms of comic book adaptations, right? Like I said, not very. It's not even worth talking about this as a comic book adaptation because it's just not. But seeing her in like Black Widow, and Marvel made it. It wasn't very good, and her Russian accent in it again. Her Russian accent in it was kind of bad, and it really pulled me off. Pulled me out of it completely. It's just like little things like that can really. It doesn't even if it's coming from the mouths of good actors. Like if their accent ain't right, it just sounds ridiculous. And but yeah, I thought. But in this movie, her American accent was absolutely mint, and I think that she was pretty good. I mean, she was basically like we were watching Jeremy Jones's review of it just beforehand, and I think he's right. She's basically the audience through line into this fucking mad world of demons and angels warring underneath the surface, with us human beings being their finger puppets. I think the term was used in the movie, and I kind of like that aspect of it. I kind of like that there was this kind of it kind of reminds me of Good Omens. If anyone's read the book or even watched the TV series, there is a bit of that going on.
I watched it a bit. I didn't watch the end. I think I watched a little bit of Good Omens.
I haven't seen the second season yet. I'll be interested to find out what's going on with that because it's not.
I like this relationship they have in Good Omens, like the angel and the devil.
Yeah, it's very true to the book, and they got the two perfect actors.
And I think
as well.
it give a
Martin
perfect,
Sheen and
it
David
give a
Tennant.
perfect kind of representation of hell and heaven and hell. None of them are perfect, but one is necessary than the other. Both are necessary.
Yeah, well, I think to be honest with you, I like it when I don't know. I think when you just look at things as goodies and baddies, like people being outright evil or people being outright good, it's all right occasionally for a morality tale or for children's tales.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But when you get older and you want something a little bit more grey, I like it when they dare to dabble in that. Not everything about heaven is purely good, and not everything about hell is purely evil. There's a little bit of leeway on both sides.
Yeah.
For
example, like for heaven, you don't really matter. Or thing like that. Not for heaven, you don't really matter, but hell, like they really need you, stuff like that. It's just the just like to not be recognized or to not be it's always entail and stuff like that. It's like why the guy go to the evil side, because the evil side was not there to listen to what he needs,
well, it's like Cypher in the Matrix when he is having the meal with Agent Smith. Yeah. And he turns around to him and says, "Like, what do you want?" Like, he goes, "I want to be plugged back in, and I don't care about. I want to forget about my time in the real world. I want to be someone important, like an actor." And he goes, "I know this steak isn't real, but it's juicy and it's tasty, and I want this. I don't want to be eating the same goddamn goop every day."
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I think. I think, having kind of these stories where things are a little bit greater, that, the angel Gabriel in Constantine isn't this kind of like, he's not good. He's kind of like, he's the kind of villain who convinces himself that he's the hero in the story when really he's the cunt.
I like him at the end, wow, you like, kill me, go on, Constantine, kill me. He's like, wow, you did so great, we do so much progress together. Almost like he was like, oh yeah, you did what I wanted you to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, basically it was almost convincing, Gabriel was always convincing, let's call them themselves, because it's like, do you really know if Gabriel's male or female in this? Like you said, there's like a huge amount of androgyny within the character that, Gabriel themselves was like very kind of, delusional, which I thought was a really interesting take. There's, what, I think this film, it's not far away from being absolutely fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like being phenomenally good. There's just a few things about it. Like you said, like with, some of the characters were really underdeveloped. It's like they tried to do too much with too many characters.
How did John Wick bring so much characters and make them more important than
well, some of it I think some of it is the performers. Like for instance, in the first John Wick, you had fucking what's his name? Who played Winston?
Yeah, I see which one you mean, but we can get it. Maybe no, it's fine. It's okay.
We could dig it up. I just can't be asked. But yeah, Ian McShane. Ian McShane playing Winston. Yeah. I mean, he's a brilliant actor. He's got so much charisma. He's got So when you select the right actors and your writing's just smart enough to show us a bit of the character without, like, there was a lot of expositional dialogue in this movie as well.
So you think there should be better like a character with more charisma in the Constantine for you to care more? All the charisma was taken away by the 3-4 main characters, basically.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, there isn't. I mean, like I said, like with Keanu Reeves, he's not what you call an extrovert. His charisma is very quiet and self-contained, but it's still there. Don't get me wrong.
It's not showing up.
Yeah, he whispers confidence rather than shouts it. So that's what I think with. I think also that's the big problem with this movie. It's like it's got these big bombastic themes, but everyone's talking in a whisper.
Yeah,
and the actual story itself is like
this to be dark and
I mean, you're straining to hear what the fuck they're saying sometimes.
Yeah, so I'll up the volume at some point. Everybody's whispering.
Exactly, and you're still straining, but also like the fact that Rachel. I mean, the actual story itself surrounds like Rachel Weisz's character, her sister. She throws herself off the top of a mental health facility called Raven Scar. Sounds like a fucking death metal band.
Scar.
Yeah, stupid name, but very comic booky.
Get some help at Raven Scar.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Or St. Catherine Hospital, or
yeah. But anyway, so that's going on, and then anyway, she throws herself off, and they've got to find out the mystery as to why she did that. And it involves going to hell and back a few times through various different contraptions and means.
I like the comedy of the thing. There's a little moment of comedy, like when she go baptize kind of thing to ritual, and is that because she's getting drowned, but before she getting drowned, there's like a moment of
No, she's
like
nothing's happening.
nothing is happening
She
right
starts
now.
drumming her fingers, and then she opens her eyes and she looks over at him.
And then
she's
the funny moment become like a dramatic moment.
it starts getting darker and darker the more he holds, and then she starts kicking out of it. And then,
what did I say? Like the moment when Constantine is going to heaven, and just like he's like, "Fuck you." Yeah.
and then the devil starts to grab him, take his cancer out of his lungs, and kind of like give him
give him back
extra
his life.
Yeah,
extra life.
So, but that's the thing that is reminiscent of the original comic book Constantine. That fact that he kind of plays like in that scene, you can in a way he's kind of played the devil off against God. So like he still gets to live on Earth. He's been absolved of his sin and he's gotten rid of his cancer. So like he's basically
he has cancer in the original.
Not really, but he's a heavy smoker. I know he does have issues with cancer, lung cancer, but if I remember rightly. But the thing is, like a lot of that stuff gets but basically in the comic books he like I said he'll trick one god off against another in order to give himself immortality or to give himself the best possible outcome. Because like for instance at one point I think if I remember rightly, it's been a while since I've read these books. I'd love to get back and read them again. But what he does, I think he tricks 3 different because obviously the different versions of hell. So the leaders of each of these different versions of hell, he's kind of played one off against the other.
Or is it going to be layers of hell?
No. It's just like the Greek hell. I can't remember exactly what it was. It's been so long since I've read it, so I'm not 100% sure exactly how this goes. But what he actually does is he plays one like let's call them demons. Plays one demon off against another, of 3 of them, and basically they all want him, right?
They want his soul.
They each of them want his soul, but they don't want to like say, "Oh yeah, I take a third, and you take a third, and you." No,
they want the complete thing.
Yeah, they want the whole fucking thing. So basically, like, because all of them, he sold his soul so many fucking times that it's just like
nobody can take him.
Exactly,
because everybody wants it.
Everyone wants it.
So he basically creates like a demand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because he's pissed off so many people in hell through fucking sending demons back and fucking with them, like they all have a perk. So like, it's like, it's not a case of like, I'll have your soul for 100 years and you have your soul for 100 years and you have your soul for 100 years. No, they cannot make a deal. No, it's just like, no, fuck you, I want him. No, fuck you, I want him. So therefore, because they kind of...
So Constantine's only weakness, if they all agree to just like be something reasonable, is doom.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He knows their motivations. He's a very smart man. He'll make these kind of bargains, knowing that he's going to come out on top. So that part of Constantine's very in the film is very true to the original source material. I'll give it that. But yeah, I think look, it's an all right movie. I did enjoy it. I still do enjoy it. I mean, every now and again I'll stick it on. It's just like some dumb fun. I mean, I don't take it too fucking seriously. There's no real kind of unlike V for Vendetta, like when we spoke about V for Vendetta last week, we had this kind of very meaningful conversation, a very deep conversation off the back of it, and it's the sort of media that actually kind of elicits. Like I said with art, right? Art's responsibility is either to elicit a reaction from you, or to like hold the mirror up to the world. This one doesn't hold the mirror up to the world.
It's a bit pickish. This one is a bit pickish. It gives you a little bit, but it can go so much deeper.
Yeah, I mean, there is real. I'd say, like I said, this movie is not far away from being a pretty, just being a fucking good movie.
Yeah.
I think it's all right. I think it's fun. I think it's daft.
It's the right amount of fun when it's needed. It's the right amount of daft when it's needed.
Yeah.
It's just the side character that are a bit underdeveloped, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's little to care for them because there's little to know about them.
Yeah, because you can't just turn around and say it's like. Also, like some of the dialogue's really like exposition-y. Do you know what I mean? Especially at the start, it's like
by dialogue.
John, I'm Constantine, John Constantine, motherfucker, or something along those lines. And then it goes down to Chaz. Chaz, I'm Chaz Winklebottom, James Winklebottom. What? My name's Chaz Winklebottom.
For example, like when Constantine left the church and walking away, Constantine, John. Oh, it's good. So like they should know what his name is.
Yeah.
His full name is. He could have said like John Constantine 087365.
Yeah, it's really silly shit, man. I mean,
Hey, John Constantine, living in 22 Avenue. You're like, yeah.
Well,
Go and say it.
well, you know something. It's like, I mean, because you were saying afterwards, weren't you? Like, it's kind of reminiscent of John Wick in certain respects. Well, it's like a precursor,
It's a precursor
of John
of
Wick.
John Wick,
Yeah, because there's definitely some elements that kind of like the fact that they keep saying his fucking name.
We all know him.
Exactly. It's like, you know, the clue. I mean, we walked into the cinema. We've looked up at the poster and it says Constantine. It's got Keanu Reeves' mug on it. So we're going to assume that he's the Constantine we're talking about.
Yeah.
But then the movie's got to keep telling you his fucking name throughout the entire film.
Yeah.
Because like,
only the devil doesn't tell his name because he knows his name.
what's that?
I think the guy, the devil at the end, like doesn't say his name. It's like they're like, oh,
Maybe.
no, maybe or something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember. I think he does say his name.
Yeah.
Like, because everyone's got to say his fucking name, and everyone's got to say John. It's like, you know, like I can understand it in John Wick because like Baba Yaga has this kind of fucking almost supernatural.
Oh, it's the boogeyman.
Yeah, Baba Yaga, the boogeyman. Like he has, you know, he has almost like a mythology built up around him before like before anything happens in the first movie, and we find out about that lore during the course of the series. But I think with this, it's like you know, it's taking the same tack, but I don't think it lands as well. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's like we're supposed to think that John Constantine, this version of John Constantine, is this kind of cool demon hunter, and you know everyone knows who he is, and he's like,
He hates everything and everybody. He doesn't want to play for any side, but he just had to do it.
yeah, and, you know, he's only out for himself.
Yeah. You don't really believe that. You know, like when she said that, he's not out for himself. Like, that, you know.
And not only that, I mean, I don't know. I just think and not only that, yeah, I just think in terms of the storytelling, I mean, like, yeah, like I said, if you turn your brain off, you'll be all right with it. But you know, if you start really examining it, I mean, it's okay, it's fine. I mean, do I think like if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, though, Rotten Tomatoes score is like 40%. They reckon it's rotten. I think that's a bit unfair. I don't think it's that bad.
No, I think it's average. It should be average.
I would say above average.
Slightly above average.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a perfect, like, things like there's some stuff about it, like this, you know, in terms of the actual like the production values. The production values are
good
fucking
visual,
amazing.
There's like it's like pretty cool. Like
it's got really. I mean, the production values are phenomenal. Do you know what I mean? In terms of the way the film looks, the attitude of the film, the aesthetic of the film. Do you know what I mean?
Was it before or after Batman? Nolan Batman. It was after. Before. It was before Batman.
The first Batman Begins was 2006.
And he was after Iron Man 1.
No, it's before Iron Man 1 as well. Iron Man 1 came out in 2008, I believe.
Okay. 2005.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this is when the comic book movies were starting to ramp. This is about the time
Sam Raimi?
Yeah, Sam Raimi Spider-Man's.
Yes, okay, here we go.
The Fantastic Four. Like there were comic book movies at the time. Do you know what I mean?
And so that's the only one that was kind of going to that dark route.
Yeah, well, you had Blade before that. I mean, it's not as if it's not as if it's you know, these were uncharted territories, to be honest.
No, there's right. There's Blade. There is also there's a guy.
Hellboy.
Hellboy. Yeah, Hellboy was no. What?
Yeah, I think the first one was 2002 or 3, wasn't it?
I love that movie.
And then you had was it the Golden Circle, the sequel?
What's the one with the mask thing? Not the mask, but like the Hellraiser or not Hellraiser.
No, Hellraiser's Pinhead.
No, there's a comic books with the guys like a full black suit with white eye and going through hell as well with a cape thing.
Oh, Spawn.
Spawn. Never heard of it. Never watched anything. I never read anything.
I watched the movie in the cinema when I was a kid. I mean, it came out in '96. I was about 14 or 15 when it came out.
DC or Marvel?
Dog shit.
Is it DC or Marvel?
Neither. It's actually Image Comics.
Oh, okay.
So it's like one of the few characters outside of Marvel and DC that really kind of holds any kind of weight. I wouldn't say it holds weight really, because like Spawn's very much still a niche.
Decent Watchmen, basically.
Well, no, Watchmen's DC.
Oh fuck.
Not only that, they actually brought them into the main DC universe as well. So they are DC now. They're not just like Vertigo. Because the thing is, like, Vertigo used to have all the cool stuff. I mean, because I was never interested in the DC universe. I mean,
DC was like classic Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, all those classic things.
Yeah, I like Batman. Do you know what I mean? Batman's like my single favorite DC character by a fucking long way.
Batman is the one that's changed the most. Like he went from like detective thing, he went to goofy, and then he went to very dark.
Yeah, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about the fact. I grew up.
You're talking about the Vertigo was the coolest, one of the coolest.
Well, no, it wasn't so much. It was coolest. It was like I liked the fact that it told there was so many different stories. I mean, like V for Vendetta, fucking like the Hellblazer series that Constantine originally came from. What else? There's like the Vertigo as an imprint, right, was more like it was more for independent comics. It was more. It was like, okay, we don't want anything in the DC comic universe, so let's everything. So why don't we have a separate imprint where we can tell stories outside of the DCEU, so we're not dependent on, or sorry, not DCEU, the DC universe. So we're not we're not dependent on the DC
Nobody
universe.
is going to say like, like Batman could have helped Constantine or stuff like that. No, it's a different thing. It's a different thing.
But now
it is.
Now it is, which I think is fucking stupid. I mean, I liked these. I like Constantine being in his own world and dealing with his own things. You know, the fact, like, I don't even when they, because no, I don't think so. I'm not, because I know he started off in DC. He actually started off in DC. He started in Swamp Thing, I believe. I haven't read that comic, in fairness, so I'm not 100% on that.
There's one comic book, like I don't know if it's. I think it might be the same author. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm mistaken. But like, do you know this Telltale game that I really like the universe of? I didn't read the comic books. It was like Wolf Among Us.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It looked like the same style of. Is it?
Well, no, the thing is, with Constantine, it's not just like one writer. He's had so many different writers over the years. Like Alan Moore's credited with creating him, but he's kind of taken on a life of his own. That's why DC was so keen to kind of bring him into the main fold, because he is such a popular character in his own right. Like Hellblazer is a hugely successful series, so it made sense for them to kind of bring Constantine into the DC comic universe.
Yeah, so it can be more like everybody can like basically.
I mean, like, not only that, it brings in their mind, I suppose. Oh yeah, it would bring in the readers of the Hellblazer comics. They didn't fucking bring me in, so fuck them. But because I'm not interested. I mean, DC. I mean, the DC comic universe. I mean, like, when I was younger, I was very much more like a Marvel kid. But even now,
nobody buy comics anymore.
Well, yeah. Well, it's not that nobody buys comics, but it's very much a niche activity now. Do you know what I mean?
What makes you stop buying comics?
I stopped buying comic, not for no particular reason. I think what it is just my taste moved on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I it's not a case of like, I mean, not only that, is I got to a point when I was buying graphic novels where I was kind of like buying all the series I wanted to complete. Like I remember completing The Boys. The Boys is fucking stupid, but I kind of like the darkness of it.
Can you think like I think there's something? Do you think the TV series and Netflix and Disney, do like all those Loki and so that TV series, kind of killed the comic book medium? Do you see what I mean? When you have a movie and you have nothing else to wait for the movie, so basically you read comic books about that character, stuff like that. And nowadays it's more the TV shows that basically give you all that. Like,
I don't
nerdiness.
think it is. I just think it's like
or YouTube.
No, I don't think it's necessarily that. I think like, to be honest with you, if you go to right now, it's not that comic books are not selling. Comic books are selling. They're still Japanese.
Oh, that's right.
Do you know what I mean? It's all the manga stuff at the moment. I mean, that's like, say for instance, if I was 14, 15 now,
like to be fair,
a long way from
when I was a kid, it was only manga. I have like Naruto's, Full Metal Alchemist. I love Full Metal Alchemist because he ends. You know, it's not like we are Tom like 164. You know, like fuck that. There's a certain amount of thing.
Yeah,
like there's a closure. That's what I like about something sometimes, you know. So for that, I don't watch series anymore because the closure, it's 45 minutes an episode and you don't have a closure, and you have to wait for the next episode to maybe have a closure.
Yeah,
it's what I prefer. Like the movie format is like 2 hours, like sometime less, sometime more, but you have a closure. The story has a closure, and even in like serial movies, like Star Wars, of that, each episode has a closure.
Yeah.
And even Marvel movies, every episode has a closure.
Yeah, but the thing is, the problem is with the Marvel movies is that there's no stakes.
There's no stakes. There's no stakes anymore.
And only that, it's like the whole fucking Marvel, the multiverse, and all sort of bollocks.
You used to have stakes.
It used to have stakes. It used to mean something. The first Iron Man, there was like, you honestly thought Iron Man could, die at the hands of Ironmonger.
Yeah.
And then eventually he dies and, he's, by sacrificing himself to save the universe.
Yeah, you're really scared because when he gets his heart removed, how is he going to come back on top,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in terms of how good, like comic book adaptations are now, I think the big problem is, I get what you're saying in terms of, story structure. It's more satisfying for it to come to an end. I think the big problem with Marvel comic books and DC comic books, and now the movies are finding this the fuck out, is that,
quantity is not the best solution.
It's not even quantity is the best solution. It's at some point, can you just fucking end?
Yeah.
It's like, for instance...
Give it closure.
Yeah, like at the end, if they were anyway fucking smart, you know what Marvel would have done?
Endgame, and that's it.
Yeah, not just wrapped up, right, and then spent the next 2 or 3 years
just make your idea.
Planning everything out and fucking go away for a while.
Yeah,
make us miss you.
Forget about it and make people miss it. Yeah, because
even if it was 3 or 4 years, for instance, at the end of 2019, right, you had They fuck off for a while. Then obviously, the beer virus comes about, and then when at the end of that, when everything opens back up again, right, and you've got then you come out and you make this big announcement. Marvel's coming back, and it's coming back with this movie at the end of 2023.
Yeah,
and then it's like everyone goes fucking bananas.
Yeah, because we didn't have anything for years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So already, that's what honestly. I mean, it's all very well to say in hindsight, but things at the time, it was kind of the writing was on the wall there. It's like, lads,
back then we knew how to do some hype.
Well, no, do you know what it was? Right, the reason why the hype kind of built up to that fever pitch, right, was you had between 2008 to 2019. Right, 11 years.
Yeah.
You had this kind of slow build to this epic fight at the end.
Yeah.
Right. That's why, and only that, all the paybacks work, all the little kind of payoffs worked because when Captain America picking up the hammer, the reason why all that kind of works is because you laid the groundwork in previous movies for that. So anyone who's been along for the ride, by the end of it, bang. I mean, that was your conclusion there, lads. You should have fucked off. At that point.
There's some story that was still open. That's the problem. There's the Guardian of the Galaxy. The story was not closed as well.
Well, the thing is, Guardian of the Galaxy only came out this year, 2023.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And there is a closure. That's a closure.
Yeah, that's the closure of it. Do you know what I mean? That's the end. That's the thing. It's something. Out of all the Marvel movies that I've seen since Endgame, right, and most of them, I'm sorry, are fucking dog shit. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's fucking, I don't know, Thor: Love and Thunder, bullshit.
Or even the TV shows, I'm thinking the Captain America Civil War thing was bullshit.
Oh, Captain America and the Falcon.
Falcon, that's right.
Yeah, that wasn't very good. The flag smashers. I mean,
flag smasher.
Yeah, such a stupid name.
Try to take some Captain America is very Captain America universe is like the flag destroyer, and it's very it's not the best villain.
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I never really read much Captain America when I was a kid. I mean, like I said,
the problem is that to bring those cartoony villain, and how do you bring them back into a political kind of thing?
The guys, Baron Zemo, man. Baron Zemo was a bit fucking goofy in the comic books, but I don't know. I mean, I look at like I said, I mean, when it comes down to comic book adaptations and comic book movies and everything else, I think comic book movies right now, I think it's not so much comic book movies. The problem with them with American cinema is that it's not trying to come up with new IP or new stories to tell or new characters to invest in or anything like that. It's trying to retread the same fucking ground again and again and again, expecting it to maintain that level of success. But the problem is, you wear your audience out, or what happens? Because you got to bear in mind, your audience never stays static.
The demographics change, all the political views change and stuff like that. Yeah.
So, like, if you're expecting, like, I don't know, like today's kids to be the same as receptive to your ideas as the kids were 10 years ago, or 10 years before that, or my generation, or the generation before that, like, you know, it doesn't work like that. You've got to come out with fresh ideas. You've got to come out with, you know, it's or try. Another thing Marvel are trying to do, they're trying to reskin their characters. Like Iron Man, Ironheart, fucking Black Panther, the new Black. I mean, obviously we had the tragedy with Chadwick Boseman passing away, so that really couldn't be helped. Their hand was forced there. But you know, or like what was sort of they?
There's some that work. For example, Spider-Man and Miles Morales.
Yeah, but that hasn't transpired in the MCU though.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. It worked in the Sony animation. I mean, I'm sorry, but that was the best Spider-Man.
The two of them.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't know for the second one. I didn't see it, but like.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen it yet. But the first one, Into the Spider-Verse, is fucking cracking.
And from what I know, the second one is amazing as well.
Yeah, I mean, I might have to. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind watching that. But I think also you got to bear in mind it's animation as well, so it's like a completely different medium. You can tell stories in like very much more dynamic ways with animation.
The character can keep going with a different actor or with a different thing. You know, like
I mean, it's a lot easier to keep. Like, I mean, there's talk now. Do you know there's talk now of fucking bringing back Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man?
He won't do it. I mean,
mate, if Marvel throw a big enough check at him, he will. I reckon. But how many times can you keep going back to that well? And not only that, he's dead. He died at the end of fucking Endgame.
Well, no, there's multiverse now.
Exactly. This is the fucking problem. It opens up all that bullshit, doesn't it? There's no stakes.
There's no stakes. Everything is like nothing. Like sacrifice for anybody doesn't make any sense. You know, like yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, to be honest, I just wish.
Like, do you know what? Like, there's a good thing in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Is, you know, like, do you think there's no stakes? Oh, he just finds his girlfriend back. No, it doesn't. It still doesn't find his girlfriend back
because it's not his girlfriend.
It's not his girlfriend. Like, yeah,
no.
That, like, you thought like, oh, it's fine. Gamora is back. Or Gamora is back. And stuff like that. They're going back together. No, it doesn't work like that. You know,
not really. No,
that's what it's like. One of the good, the best closure of this character as well. Like, yeah, they have to move on. It's not the same. No, it's not good. Do you want to say anything else?
Well, in terms of the movie, right, in terms of Constantine,
it's good.
Right, it's fine. I mean, there's things that you can kind of
give it a chance. I think it was a great Halloween movie. It's a great Halloween movie when you think about it.
No, it's not.
It's Halloween.
It's got demons in it and stuff, but it's not really a scary movie, is it?
Oh, it is scary at some point. They do like a kind of jump scare kind of thing. No scary movie are very scary.
Yeah, but I don't really feel that movie's like tailored to. It's about more like religious lore than it is about horror. You know.
Yeah, but like what the best horrific like thing that's just like demons and hell and damnation and.
Mate, I'm like this game I'm playing at the moment, Hades. Right, it came out a few years ago. It's fucking brilliant. I love it.
So you mean the devil is not Halloweeny? Is that Halloween enough? The devil and the hell and stuff like that?
Well, if you let me get to the point.
Go on.
Right. So you're literally fighting out from the Greek underworld and you're fighting through fucking like Tartarus, I can't remember the second one, and then you're going up to the fields of Elysium and you got to fight your way through the fields of Elysium, which is basically fucking heaven in Greek in Greek mythology from what I understand. So you're fighting your way up through the underworld up to being alive. But yeah, you're fighting through Tartarus. At one point you are Asphodel. That's it. You're fighting through Asphodel, which is literally just fire and brimstone. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, though, there are those kind of horrific elements. But is it a horror story? Fuck no.
It's more. I mean, it was a horror story, but like
Hades is the Greek Satan, by the way.
But like Constantine could be a good Halloween movie. It's dark. It's there's demons and stuff like that. It could be a good Halloween movie. I didn't say it was like a spooky movie. I said it was a good Halloween movie, like October. You know, like. Yeah,
but I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't. You know what? When I think about it, right, I think it's a good movie. It's a good enough movie. It's not well beaten by any means, but it's a good enough movie, almost in spite of itself. Do you know what I mean? Because it doesn't stick with
a cult following at the after.
Like, I mean, it's got a cult following. I mean, I've watched it a good few times, but in terms of actually how, I think it somehow became successful by accident.
I think you need to give him a chance. Like Constantine needs to be given a chance to be appreciated. And that's what happened here.
Yeah.
But those people didn't give him a chance. Those people give him
He's
a
pointing
chance.
at the scores on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way.
Yeah, so like the like the lowest score of the review thing, they didn't give a chance to Constantine. They judged Constantine for what he was, and this one judged Constantine for what he was given.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I just don't. I think, yeah, but the fact that it's not really a good horror movie because it isn't. It's not a good adaptation because it isn't. It has all the, I don't know. I just think it's sort of its own unique thing in a strange sort. It takes elements that are familiar, but it's got its own kind of like spin on things.
Yeah,
and I like what it does with what it does. But I don't know. I just think, yeah, it's a good enough movie in spite of itself because it doesn't all the things that it's advertised to be. It doesn't do very well.
Can you imagine that movie, but with the John Wick choreography and John Wick?
Then it would be just a John Wick movie.
It would be John Wick with Constantine.
Yeah, exactly. Because this is the thing with Keanu Reeves. I mean, he always just seems to come across as Keanu Reeves, and this is why I say it.
Every actor come across of that.
No, they don't. They do not. They fucking do not. They don't. Right? Keanu. The things with Keanu Reeves is like, and I'm sorry to say this, but he doesn't have a huge amount of range, right? He does kind of play stoic action characters very well.
Yeah,
he does because it's like that because he has this kind of quiet, understated, very stoic kind of confidence, and I think in certain roles that absolutely fucking works. That works wonders, but I don't. But he hasn't got a great range. He's very understated. He's very kind of contained. He's not very, dramatic. He's not very kind of expressive in that way. So in certain roles he's perfect. And in other roles not so much. So this is why, like, as an adaptation in the original source material, it doesn't do it very well at all. Which is why I kind of discount it. It's just like, I don't really see Constantine as, as an adaptation of Hellblazer. I see it as its own fucking thing. It tells its own story. It's got its own lore. The fact it doesn't mention any like the Newcastle incident. It doesn't really or any other major events that have gone on in the comic books. Except
the taxi.
Well, yeah, it's just, not even the taxi. The taxi color is different. Everything's fucking wrong. But yeah, in terms of the actual, in terms of how good the it sucks as an adaptation. It doesn't really work as a horror movie. It doesn't really work as a psychological horror movie as well, because the whole situation with the twins, which we didn't really cover all that much, because Rachel Weisz plays a set of twins.
Nobody cleaned the window in the room. That moment was like, there's a secret message in the room.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Nobody fucking cleaned the window. They would be stuck if somebody cleaned the window. And Constantine just like highlight one thing by just removing some of the part, this wrong dude, like, what the fuck?
Exactly. So, like, yeah, there's a lot,
it's like, it's not that smart. The movie is not that smart.
It's not. It's a bit silly, a bit stupid. But, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if I've said this before, if you scratch away enough, like, it will kind of ruin your enjoyment. If I was 15, 16 watching this movie, I think it's one of the greatest movies in the world.
Cool.
Do you know what I mean? This movie came out when I was 24. Mm-hmm. When it came out, I really enjoyed it because, in fairness, though, I will say this: because of this movie, I went on to read Hellblazer. So
you didn't say that. You didn't say that.
No, I'm just after saying it now, didn't I?
No, you could have started with that.
Well, no, it's only as we were talking, I kind of like looking back on it. It's like, yeah, because I got into watch this movie, I wanted to. Then I started going, wait a minute, this is nothing like the fucking movie. And then I started getting into it. It was like, well, this is way better.
So it's a good introduction to the universe.
No,
if you don't know anything.
No, it's fucking awful for that because the universe is completely fucking different. This is the thing. It's just so it doesn't. It somehow works.
But without that movie, you would never discover Hellblazer.
Yeah, true. I'm not disputing that, right? all I'm saying is, but it's like as I got into Hellblazer though, it's just like this is nothing like the fucking movie, and in fact, it's better. You know, there's more to it. There's more stories. There's more characterization. You know, John Constantine's actually cool, and I like him. I resonate. He was part of a punk band called Mucous Membrane, and you know all this other cool stuff about him. Do you know what I mean? That the fact he's from Liverpool, and you know, is
also it was closer to home to you.
Well, yes and no. I mean, like again, I think what it comes down to is that the character in the comic books is far more engaging. Like because they adapted the TV series. What's the name of your man? He's a Welsh lad who plays Constantine in the TV series, and he does a pretty good interpretation of him. Do you know what I mean? He's a lot more kind of truer to the original character. All right, he's got a bit of a Welsh accent, but we can make allowances for that.
Yeah,
but
it's close enough, you know.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's kind of got that snarky, sarcastic kind of dry humour that John Constantine of the comic book has. You know, the movie with Keanu Reeves. I mean, yeah, he's got his kind of fuck you attitude, which I like, but it doesn't. Yeah, there isn't the same kind of wit that I like about the original comic book. Do you know what I mean? And I think like I said, as an introduction to the property, it fucking blows.
That's what I was saying. Like, it's a good introduction.
It's not a good introduction. Look again.
It blows. Okay, no, it blows. What do you mean by blows?
Well, what I mean is like when it's not very good. It's not an act.
After blows was good.
No, it's not. That's the thing, though. It's like the dissonance between the portrayal of in this movie and the character in the original source material is night and day. It's like Game of Thrones, the TV series, got me into reading A Song of Ice and Fire. Like Tyrion Lannister, well, he started off pretty close to the comic book. By the end of it, in the fucking TV series, he was a fucking idiot. But
they all went into idiot at the end.
Well, that's because basically D&D, whatever their fucking names are, like what they ended up doing was they ran out of source material and they took the characters in their own direction and oh wait a minute, they're not as good writers as George R.R. Martin, in terms of writing characters.
We're not that great. They realized they were not that great. They thought they were geniuses.
Yeah,
like it's the curve thing. Maybe it was the curve thing.
Oh, I know when you're talking about what's the name? Yes, the confidence curve is like you think your confidence initially when you start something is very high, then you kind of you could become a little.
Then you realize that your skill.
You got more to learn, and
then
it picks back up as you become more proficient. Like they were
at the bottom of the curve. Maybe the game was short. Anyway.
Yeah, let's not go too much into that because I'll just get very angry.
Anyway,
but the thing is, just because like Game of Thrones, because initially, like I said, because the initial quality of the TV series, because they had the books to fall back on, like watching the TV series got me into reading the books. Mm-hmm. Do you know, I've got to admit, like, also I didn't read the original Dune series until I watched the more recent adaptation of the current adaptation. Stop doing that, it's annoying. Until the original, until I watched Dune, the latest version of Dune, I didn't read the books. Mm-hmm. But then I watched the original version of Dune, a brilliant movie. Oh, not the original Dune, not David Cronenberg, who directed it again. I can't remember. But the current Danny Villeneuve version, the 2021 version, having watched that, then I went back and read the books and I fucking fell in love. Well, the first two I really like. I've nearly finished God Emperor. Not very good. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Is like sometimes like watching movies and you'll watch something and be, oh yeah, that's based on something. Let me go and check it out. Yeah. Like that happens quite frequently. That happens with me all the time. I'll get into a band because, I remember when the Heavies, what do you call it? You can't stand me now. No, don't watch me now. I can't remember whether it was. I don't know. It was like anyway. Look, sometimes you'll listen to a song in a movie and you're like, oh fuck, that's really cool. I want to go and listen to it, and then you go and listen to it, and you get into the band. Right, you'll watch a movie based on a property, and you'd be like, "Fuck, I love this property." Then you start getting into the source material. Yeah. Like, so sometimes that does happen, but like I don't think it was ever as jarring going from like an adaptation to the source material for me as it was with Constantine, because it sucks as an adaptation, but as a movie in its own right with its own lore and its own fucking thing going on, I think it does a good job. You know. On that note, right, I think it's pertinent to end the podcast because like we've kind of exhausted all our talking points, it would seem. So, all right, what are we watching next?
We'll see, because we were supposed to talk about Valerian, but we didn't.
Actually, do you want to touch on that now? Very quickly.
The good special effects for like a European movie. The two main actors have no chemistry whatsoever. And the villain is basically shown in the, it's the villain on the first minute of the movie.
Yeah.
So, like the music's like don 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 don. You don't know that name, but you already know he's a villain. And the story is going all over the place. It's just and like the overall chemistry of the two main characters are poor, like extremely poor.
Right. The only reason why I'm mentioning that this now is because like we initially said that we were going to watch this for this week.
Yeah.
But we watched it. Neither one of us really fucking enjoyed it. And we didn't think it was really worth kind of stretching out an hour and a half.
It was a poor scenario, poor story.
Yeah. I'm visually very imaginative, and if you like visually imaginative films, fine. But aside from that, there's really not a whole lot going on with it, to be quite honest with you.
It was very hollow, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's why we didn't do Valerian. That's why for the change of schedule. But next week will definitely be Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah.
Because it's tying in, funnily enough, with the release of the animated series on Netflix, which is coming out on the 17th, apparently. So yeah, by coincidence or by good fortune, the next one will be Scott Pilgrim versus the World. So if you'd like to join us next week and hear us talk about our favourite directors, we both agree on that, then please join us then. So in the meantime, my name's been John Clare.
I've been Roman Fish.
This has been the Post Watch Post Mortem. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.